Since it is election day, maybe I'll throw up a couple bucks and you guys can vote and see which one you guys think that I should hunt.
Gordon is like a new 8-point, but that's about it. That's that buck that Hoyer was gonna hunt, but he's in the Eastfield Road. Then he goes all the way up the road. And then he's up in the beans.
That's a nice buck.
Yeah.
All right, we got November 5th, which is also the election day. It's like, ooh. Yeah. We got to go vote after I get back from hunting. Lee's not going out this morning. He's staying with the kids and dogs. Baby Boo Boo here. Matt and Mackenzie are leaving today, but I know I couldn't sleep last night. I don't know if it was because I was excited about going hunting this morning or if I was just thinking about the election. I don't really know. Obviously, Jetty's on edge, too.
7 a.m. he's back again. But
Oh, I'm so glad you're playing Bop It.
oh, yeah.
I'm so glad you're playing Bop It. All right, my first morning hunting in Iowa was fairly slow. Honestly, I thought we would see just a little bit more, but we had a bunch of little bucks chasing does right away, and then we saw the one buck that his antlers almost touched in the middle, you know, not too long ago, just out cruising. But it's like one of those things. It's hard when you're targeting one deer because it makes it a lot more difficult, I can tell you that much. So we're gonna get out right now. We gotta actually go vote, and then we're gonna be back in the stand pretty early. I had to check my moon guide just to see what time prime movement is, and we'll make sure that we are out in the Redneck tonight.
All right, I'm just getting the Ranger back together. I just had to wire it. I put a amber light up in front and I got all the wiring done for the bar light. Goes up on top, but it's kind of strange for me to be November 5th and sitting working on my Ranger and not out hunting, but Tiffany went this morning, and I really don't have a target buck, which is like the first time in 10 years, well, probably the first time in 10 or 15 years I didn't shoot one in October, though we could have. I had a couple of that potential bucks that I was gonna look at, and I went and looked at a big 12, have a narrow one first, and he had like forks last year, and he didn't put the forks up. I went just to look at him. I was like, no, I just need to leave him another year, I think. There was another big 12 on another farm that had just showed up, and when I saw him, I was like, okay, I know a deer just from last year. I think he's only 4, and you could see that in his body when we were out there, so he was off the hit list. And I had a couple more on a couple different farms. But I don't know, you can take a look at some of these, and I got some other ones too, since it is election day today, and Tiffany and I are just getting ready to go and vote. Maybe I'll throw up a couple bucks and you guys can vote and see which one you guys think that I should hunt, because it's kind of strange. Like I said, in past years, these other bucks we would have shot 100%. But now that I've shot a lot of big ones, and you know, I just see my buddy Skip Sly, he had a big one that was like 200 at 5 years old, and he left them, and then he went down at 6 years old, and he left them again, and now this year he shot him earlier, and he was like almost 230. And some of these bucks that have this potential, sometimes you just gotta let them go to 6 or 7 if you wanna. You get them that big, of course, you take such a huge risk with EHD and everything else, you know, losing them or neighbors shooting them, because nobody else is gonna pass these deer, I guarantee you that. Okay, here's number 1 that I went and looked at, the 6x6. He's like 5 years old now, and he kind of went down a little bit from last year. He had forks, although he does have a nice typical frame and a little sticker on there. But he broke his 3 off already, so actually number 1 is out of the picture since he broke that.
Yeah, from here he doesn't look big enough. A lot of times you just gotta basically take a look at them. Sometimes in pictures they look big, sometimes they don't, but you just don't see the mass and stuff. But we'll wait till he gets up here. Still a friggin' awesome deer, but might be one we want to leave. I don't know how we got to October 23rd already. I guess because I've only hunted like 2 days so far for whitetail, so we just got back from Alberta this morning. We left yesterday morning and drove all night. Get here was kind of the first day of that cool front. I mean, it had been like unseasonably warm. I mean, it is so dry too. I mean, it's been like 80s the whole time I was gone up in Alberta, like the whole last week, and now it's high of 65 today, maybe 70 tomorrow, and then 61. And so now it's just kind of the front end of that of the cool front, and also got the red moon right now too. So I figured I would better get home and get out while I got a couple of days of the red moon left here. We'll sit back and see what shows up. It's a big 6x6. That was a 5x5 last year. That's what I'm looking for here. We'll see if he comes out. That might be that it's at the 12. Yeah, I think that's him. That's the deer he's looking for. If we think he's big enough, I don't know. Here he comes. He's hitting all those scrapes right there, but I tell you, I know that deer was out a lot last year. And I never saw him in person. It's just pictures, but I thought like last year that he was like a 4 or 5 year old deer, but now looking at him this year, I mean, his body is small. He just almost looks like a 4-year-old to me this year. I'm sure he's not. I'm sure he's just one of those bucks with the smaller bodies, but I think I'll just leave him. I mean, we have a couple of really old bucks on here that it's like a big 10 that has just a little tiny 4s, more management deer, but they're like 6 and 7 years old, big, old bucks. That's the kind of deer you want to leave and let him breed here for a couple of years. Him and Mufasa and some of those will have a couple of giants next year. It's just, we start out this year without really anything to hunt, and then some of these start showing up, but even on a slim year, you just can't shoot deer like that because that's your future. So he's awesome. I mean, he's like a Boone and Crockett deer. He's just too small bodied. I just can't shoot that deer. Why they're making all those scrapes along there. But you can tell how dry it is. Look at that, just the dust coming up.
So he's definitely out of the picture, but the ones that are in the picture still are the wide one that has the 2 that bends backward with a sticker on that. We don't have names for these yet, so we'll just say candidate number 3. I mean, awesome deer, but just looking at his body and stuff, I'm thinking, even though I think he's 5, I just think he has a long ways to go. He did a good jump last year, but that's one that, when I looked at him initially, I was like, I should let him go. Okay, so he's candidate number 3. Candidate number 4 is another wide 6x6. He's got a side-by-side and some stickers off his bases, and I think both of his 2s have stickers.
I don't know. Got our window there.
when I first saw him, I could have shot him, but it was just really quick and right at first light, and I just wanted to get a closer look at him. But the closer, like when he was walking away and kind of going through the timber, I didn't have a shot at him anymore. I was like, ooh, he kind of looks like, you know, I know he's 5 from last year, but he kind of looks small body and look like he's got some potential. You know, he could go to a 200 for sure next year, so I'm not sure about that one. So now there's another Big 10, he's got short 4s, and that one's probably maybe top on my list at the moment, because I think he's 5 or 6 already, but since he's got such short 4s, that I just don't think he has potential. He's got no stickers or anything like that. I think he could get a little bit bigger, a little heavier in the frame or something like that, but he's likely never going to blow into a 200. I can be 100% guarantee you that. He can get a little bit bigger, but he's never going to blow into a big one like candidates number 3 and 4. So that's number 5. And then there's a new one that just showed up on camera yesterday. That's a big 8-point on one of our farms, and just one picture of him facing us. You can't really see his body or something, but it's a big frame, really wide 8-point. So that's potential candidate number 6. And if I get some better looks at him, we're just going out to vote right now, and I'm gonna go hang a stand actually over there for a morning sit over there, and hopefully we get some more pictures of him, or I can see him on the hoof and decide on him. So at this point, we got a couple of candidates for you to vote on, and hopefully we'll have 4 soon.